Hey there, fellow cultists. This is DMNL, and this is another episode of the Shadow of the Demon Lord talk. We are on episode 68, and today we're going to talk about setting up an encounter. Now, before we get started, I do want to talk about a couple other things that are on my mind. First of all, this is as of this video, um, I have 252 subscribers to my YouTube channel. Now, I'm not in this for monetary reasons. I've talked about on many of my videos why I'm doing these videos. Um, Basically, just trying to um, get people to notice this game because I think it's better than a lot of the games that are out there that are more popular. And I think we need a larger community because this game deserves it. But um, that's the main reason why I'm doing these videos, to spread the word and to have a resource for people that are actually coming into the game to um, talk about the various aspects of the game, see how the games are run, and the many things I try to do on this channel. So I have 252 subscribers on my video, and one of my New Year's resolutions for this year is to double my subscribers to 200 or to 500, to over 500. The reason I want to do that is because YouTube is funny, and it limits what you can do based on how many subscribers you have. So if I want to do, for example, if I want to do a live video on YouTube, I can't do it because I don't have enough subscribers. However, if I get to 500, I would be able to do a live video. If I wanted to just post a message on YouTube rather than doing an actual video, just post a text message with a graphic, can't do it until I have a minimum number of subscribers, which I think is 500. So I would like to try and double my subscribers to 500 this year, if at all possible. But I need your help, and I need you guys to kind of spread the word, share my videos, and see if we can't get people more interested in Shadow of the Demon Lord, enough to at least subscribe to my channel. Now, I'm not into this for monetary reasons. I don't have nearly enough views to even consider getting monetized. And even if it became monetized, it would not be enough money for me to retire on, that's for sure. So this is definitely not a money-making endeavor. But in order for me to get a few bells and whistles in YouTube, I do need more subscribers. So that's what ultimately I'm shooting for. Hopefully, with those bells and whistles, I can reach out to the community in different ways and keep this channel fresh. So anyway, wanted to mention that before we actually get started in today's topic. So today's topic is let's set up an encounter. And um, over the holidays, I was kind of going through the Core Rulebook, which I like to do every once in a while, and I've pretty much read through that thing front to back. I don't know how many times, but I always find parts that I've just kind of skimmed over, or I read a long time ago and I've almost forgotten about, and I uh, reread the combat section of the running the game chapter of the core rulebook. And there's some great information in this chapter. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is the running the game chapter, and it is page, face out of the way, 189. And it talks about setting up combat encounters. Um, so I think I could have benefited from using this more. I actually haven't used this at all. In fact, I've just kind of um, done my own thing and just kind of felt my way through encounter creation. But this chapter really gives you some help. So my my feeling, not only with Shadow of the Demon Lord, but also with other role playing games, is that there really are way too many variables to accurately predict how challenging an encounter will be. Now, of course, you can ballpark it and probably get pretty close, but there are just too many variables. I mean, depending on how many players you have, how many characters are running, the levels, the abilities, the different ancestries, the different paths they take, and all of the various abilities that come with all of those things. There are just entirely too many variables to be able to predict how an encounter is going to go. So it's virtually impossible to do that with any degree of certainty. And the higher the level you get, the less certain those predictions become. So that's just my feeling. Other people may feel differently about it, but I am not a fan of rules that or formulas that try to predict the difficulty of an encounter. Simply because, in my experience, they don't work. They don't always work. Let me put it that way. So, however, having said that, the encounter guidelines in this chapter are pretty good. And I'm going to actually use them in building a few encounters for some adventures I'm writing. And so hopefully that will make things a little bit more smoothly, run more smoothly. So let me just kind of walk through what I'm talking about here. So this is the combat section, and it starts off with combat difficulty, and it says that combat encounters 4 danger categories: easy, average, challenging, and hard. I actually think there are 2 combat difficulties: easy and hard. Um, the in between states, maybe there's 3: easy, average, and hard. I don't know if there are 4. Um, but this goes with 4, so we'll run with that. An easy combat should not tax the group over much, while a hard one could very well end with one or more characters dying. The danger category determines the total difficulty of the hostile creatures present for the encounter, as shown on the following tables. You populate the encounter by choosing the appropriate creatures and summing their difficulty up to the maximum recommended for the encounter's danger. The table also indicates the maximum difficulty for any individual creature present in the encounter. You can exceed this number, but be careful, using higher difficulty creatures can be lethal. So it also talks about the difficulty per day table, which is over here, and I really don't want to get into that because the previous section is basically talking about random encounters and how many encounters you should have per day and stuff like that. And I just find that not every group, first of all, not every group does things randomly. Second of all, many groups follow a storyline, so there may only be one encounter in a day, or there may be multiple encounters in a day that are already planned. Throwing in random encounters, for me, in my experience, I really don't do that very often, so I'm not going to talk about that. But the combat section is what I'm referring to here. And it also kind of goes into the adjusting the encounter difficulty, fudging the numbers if things become more difficult than you had anticipated. Talks about what happens when you are outnumbering the group, because that changes the action economy quite a bit. And example of encounters. So this table right here is really what I want to highlight, and it gives you guidelines on how many creatures, based on their difficulty rating, you should have for each of these categories at the various tiers of play. And it also has the maximum creature difficulty for each tier. So, for example, if you are running a starting tier game, you should not throw in a creature that has a difficulty greater than 25, because if you do, that's probably going to wipe out your starting character group. Maybe. Now, depending on if you're running this like the Dungeon Crawl Classics way, and you have each player running 3 or 4 characters, you got 24 different characters, then a difficulty 25 creature may not be that tough. But if you have just a normal group of 4 or 5 player characters, then a difficulty 25 creature is going to be plenty tough. So you should not max it out. So let's just kind of talk this through here. So for a starting tier, if you want an easy encounter, then you can have a number of creatures whose difficulty equals 3 or less. Now, what do I mean by the difficulty of the creatures? Well, there are each creature has a difficulty rating, and let me just scoot on down to the bestiary section. All right, so as you can see, we got the hag here, and she comes with a difficulty rating of 500. You have a gremlin, and it comes with a difficulty rating of 5. So the difficulty scale goes from anything less than 1. So there are different things that can be less than 1 difficulty. And then I kind of start counting the real challenges to start at difficulty 1. So you have difficulty 1, then you have difficulty 5, then you have difficulty 10. And it goes from 10 to 25. It goes from 25 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 250, 250 to 500, 500 to 750, and then the toughest creatures in the game that I've seen to date are difficulty 1000. Now, that's not to say that creatures with a higher difficulty aren't possible in this game. They just haven't been created yet, at least not by Schwalbe Entertainment. There may be somebody out there that has created a difficulty 1000 or higher difficulty monster, but every published creature or every supplement and core rule book that I've seen published so far caps out at difficulty 1000. All right, so that is that's what is meant by the difficulty number. So getting back to where I was, and now my computer's decided to freeze up on me. Okay, getting back to where I was. Come on. Hi, caramba. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so anyway, let's actually go away from the core rulebook. And I've kind of prepared a graphic here myself. And it has the same chart. So let's just go with this. So the starting tier adventure or encounter, if you want to make it easy, then the total difficulty should be 3 or less. An average encounter should be 4 to 15 difficulty. For challenging, the total difficulty should be 16 to 30, and for a hard encounter, 31 or more. Now, I got to say, for a starting tier, 31 or more, I would say is going to be pretty damn hard. In fact, 16 to 30 is going to be tough. So, yeah, this is, in my experience, this is in the deadly range, TPK range. But and the max difficulty the max creature difficulty should be no greater than 25 in any of these. So let's kind of walk through building an encounter for each tier using beastmen as our example. So what I have over here are all the various beastmen. Well, not all of them, but most of them. So we have the Fomor, which are difficulty of 1. We have Fomor warriors, which are difficulty of 10. We have a Fomor mob, which is a difficulty of 10. Fomor void callers, which is difficulty of 25. We have the warg, difficulty 10. Warg Hunter, difficulty 25, Warg Berserker, or Berserk, difficulty 50, a Bugbear is difficulty 50, Bugbear Headhunter is difficulty 100, Minotaur is difficulty 100, and Avoidable is difficulty 250. All right, so if I wanted to do a starting tier encounter, and I wanted to make it an easy encounter, I could simply go with 3 Fomor. 3 Fomor is they're 1 difficulty each, so 3 times 1 is 3. And that puts us at our max for an easy encounter. Now, if I wanted to do an average encounter, then I could do 1 Fomor Warrior, which is a difficulty 10, plus 5 Fomor, which are difficulty 1, and that puts us at a difficulty of 15, which is our max for the average encounter. Now, if we wanted to do a challenging encounter, we could do, say, 2 Wargs, which are difficulty of 10, so that's 20 right there, plus 1 Fomor Mob, which is another 10, and that would put us at a total of 30. Or if I wanted to do a hard encounter, then I could go with 1 Warg Hunter, which is a difficulty of 25, and that is the that's the highest difficulty creature that we can include. So that would be 1 Warg Hunter plus 1 Fomor Mob, and that would put us at a total of 35 difficulty, which is still in the ballpark of 31 or more. So that's for a starting tier encounter. Now let's take a look at a novice tier encounter. So if I wanted to build a Beastman encounter in the novice tier, and I wanted to make it an easy encounter, I could go with a Fomor Mob. 1 Fomor Mob is 10 difficulty, and that is right at where we need to be for the easy encounter. If I wanted to do a average encounter, I could go with 3 Wargs, which are 10 each, so that'd be 30, plus 1 Warg Hunter, which is 25, so that would be 30, 55. And 3 Warg, 30, 3 Warg 30, which is where we're at in our max there, or I could go with 1 Warg Hunter. Wait, I'm on challenging. Okay. Rewind. Getting ahead of myself. All right, let's start over with average. Now, we could do 3 Wargs, which would be 30, and that puts us at our max. Or we could go with 1 Warg Hunter, which is 25 difficulty, plus 5 Fomor, which puts us at a total of 30. If we want to do a challenging encounter, we could do 1 Warg Berserk, or 1 Warg Hunter, plus 1 Fomor Voidcaller, and that puts us at a total of 50, which is our maximum for a challenging encounter. And then for a hard encounter, you could go with 1 Warg Berserk, plus 1 Fomor Mob, which puts us at a difficulty of 50, or 1 Warg Hunter, plus 1 Fomor Voidcaller, plus 2 Warg, and that puts us at a total of 55, which is still in the ballpark of 51 or more. So that's the novice tier. Now let's look at the easy or the expert tier. And so for expert tier, we've got an easy encounter consisting of 3 Fomor mobs. And that's a total of 30 difficulty. Then we have an average encounter, which would be, could be potentially 1 Bugbear, and that's 50. So for expert tier, the highest or the maximum creature difficulty that we can include would be 250. So that's no big deal. If we have 1 Bugbear at 50, that's cool, fits within our encounter budget, and it doesn't max out our maximum creature difficulty. Then if we want a challenging encounter, we can include 1 Bugbear, Headhunter, plus 1 Fomor Voidcaller for a total of 125. And then finally, we could have a hard encounter in the expert tier, which would include 1 Void Bull of 250. Now, this is where I got to throw in a caveat. Once you start getting to the expert tier and the master tier, the player characters have so many abilities that this the math starts to break down. And so a hard what this says a hard encounter with one void bull at 250 for an expert tier may not be that hard at sixth level versus a fourth level um, game. So as you know, the expert tier goes from fourth level to sixth level, so fourth, fifth, sixth. Um, and sorry, it goes from third level to sixth level. So it could be third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. All those encompass the expert tier. So a third level character is not going to be quite as powerful as a sixth level character, but they're still in the same tier. So to say that one Void Bull is going to be challenging for a sixth level character or for a sixth level group, no, I don't think so. So that's something else that you have to take in consideration. What is the actual group level at this point? I would say that this would be hard for a third or fourth level group, but not a fourth or fifth level group. It would probably be more in the challenging to average, if I had to guess. So keep that in mind as well. Master tier. If you wanted to build a challenging master tier encounter or hard master tier encounter, challenging a 10th level group is going to be much harder than challenging a 7th level group. So that is, that's definitely something you have to keep in mind. But just using this chart as we continue to go with the official way of doing it, if we were doing the master tier and want an easy challenge, we'd have 5 Fomor mobs, which would be 50 points, 50 difficulty, which fits our budget. If we wanted to do an average encounter, we could have 1 Bugbear Headhunter and 1 Warg Hunter for a total of 125, which puts us at our budget there. Then we have challenging, which would be 1 Bugbear Headhunter, 1 Fomor Void Caller, 5 Fomor mobs, and 1 Warg Hunter for a total of 200, and that puts us at our challenging budget. Or you could have a hard encounter, which would be 1 Void Bull, 1 Minotaur, 1 Bugbear Headhunter, 1 Fomor mob, and 2 Fomor Void Callers for a total of 500. Which again, I think would be challenging, which would be hard for a 7th level group, but not necessarily a 9th or 10th level group. Okay, so that is pretty much it. So this is if you're starting out with Shadow the Demon Lord and you're wanting to write your own adventures and you're wanting to, try to come up with a way for you to challenge your players, but not just outright wipe them out, or to make it a ballpark, or not a ballpark, to make it a cakewalk for them, then I think that this encounter difficulty chart is your best friend at least at the start. Now, as I mentioned, getting into the expert and master tier, I'm not sure how well this holds. I'm going to try it out actually, and I may come back and give you some actual experience based feedback on this. But my experience up to this point is that once you get into the expert and master tiers, the players have so many options available to them that you kind of have to cater, or not cater, but you have to tailor your encounters, knowing what your players are capable of and what their characters are capable of, and build your encounters with that knowledge rather than relying on just a difficulty number. So anyway, there you go. Wanted to create a video on encounter building. Hopefully this is something that might help some beginning DMs out there with building some Shadow the Demon Lord encounters. So with that, I will wrap this video up. Thanks once again for watching. If you want to support me, once again, please help out by subscribing to the channel. You can also help me out monetarily if you want by purchasing my token sets. I sell them on the Roll20 marketplace. I have 7 sets out there right now. They're called Bloody Tokens, and many of the tokens that I create are based off of Shadow of the Demon Lord creatures that you're not going to find in other token sets elsewhere, because other token sets elsewhere don't care as much about Shadow of the Demon Lord as I do. So yeah, my token sets are going to be where you find, for example, um, what's it called, the chorus, the deadly chorus. No, the I have a token for harvesters. You're not going to find that anywhere. The ghastly chorus. You're not going to find a token for that anywhere. What else? I've got tokens for an Oculus. You're definitely not going to find that anywhere. Arene. I have a Arene token out there. So yeah, I mean all the weird monsters are in Shadow of the Demon Lord that you're not going to find in other role playing games. I tried to go out of my way to make tokens for them, so that I have them, if nobody else, for when I need them in my Shadow of the Demon Lord game. So if you want to check them out, go to the Roll20 marketplace, and if you buy a couple sets, then it throws a few dollars at me, where I can go out and buy more tokens. Because I have a problem with collecting tokens. I have entirely too many. Just like my miniature problem. See, I got like every miniature ever, just about. That's a lie. I don't have every miniature ever. I kind of stopped collecting miniatures a while back, because I've got thousands of miniatures right now. And I don't even play face to face. That's the thing. Most of my games are online. So that's why I collect tokens now, because I can't use my actual physical miniatures, even though I bought um, a resin printer, 3D printer, and sitting right over there mocking me. So, if I wanted to, I could create more miniatures. But anyway, until we get back into a state of my friends aren't going to kill me by breathing on me, then I'm afraid most of my games are going to have to remain online, which is why couple bucks here and there will help me purchase more tokens on Roll20. So it helps to perpetuate my hobby addiction. There you go. All right, so I'm done. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Hail.